What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the ASL. Today is Group E, a very special day as Flash has finally returned to StarCraft 1.
Yes, indeed. I am so excited. Of course, it is a 4 Terran group, which makes it even better. But Flash being back is kind of the big news. You know, it's been how many years since he's played in ASL? Has it been like 4 years, 5 years since he played his last one?
I think 4.
4 years?
I think it's been 4, maybe it might even be more. You know, the longer StarCraft is out, just 28 years old, 28-year-old birthday for the game yesterday. So, you know, the longer this game's around, the harder it is to tell how far away things are from each other. But I mean, it's been so long. We've gone through so many different ASLs with all these different players dominating, as well as Solkey looking unstoppable for, years. It's crazy to see that he's back now.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff. And you can see already the round of 16 has a lot of Terran players in it. It's going to get 2 more here today. And so that means that the round of 16 is going to be 8 Terrans. That's half Terrans. There is one more Terran playing Leda in the final group, but if Leda gets out of that group, there's something wrong, Tasteless. If you look at Group F, it's like, no, best Queen and Jaedong. Sorry, Leda, you're dead. That is not happening. So 2 more Terrans in that round of 16 coming up today.
Yeah, and I think it's probably going to be Flash and Rush advancing here today, but Organ and Speed, they could pull something off. We'll see here. Both these guys are extremely good, but, you know, Rush has basically been the player that kind of filled the vacant spot when Flash was gone. Him and Light were really dominant, and of course with Flash being back here now, the most I should say the strongest historically StarCraft player ever in the history of the game. So cool to have him back, but today's going to be a big test. You know, being gone for years is pretty big. That gives a lot of players a lot of time to improve. I would imagine Flash should still get out first or second, but we're going to see. Today is the start of that test.
Yeah, I would be a little bit surprised if he doesn't end up winning the group. You know, I've definitely watched his stream a lot since he came back and watched him in like Pro League matches and stuff like that. And he definitely, based on the games that I watched, is the best player in the world right now. Like, he was smashing everybody, including Soma and everybody else, Hero, Queen, Best. It doesn't matter. Like, the guy is just truly next level. There's a reason why all the other players refer to him as God and don't even try to compare themselves to him. He is just that good, and we're kind of blessed to have a player like that, even though it's this crazy storyline of the older games. But, interview.
Hello and welcome to Group E of the round of 24 here at ASL Season 21, done in partnership with Google Play. There is little left to go in this round of 24, with surprises still coming thick and fast, as only 4 more spots in the round of 16 are left up for grabs. Let's have a chat with our 4 players ahead of today's Group E. Hello. Hello. First up, Tier 1 player Rush. Hi. Hi. No one does the qualifiers like Rush, people are saying. Once again, a clean run for you to make it here. Are you still in as good shape? I think I've always had an easy time going through the qualifiers, and I've always made it through the round of 24. I'll advance today likewise. You've been getting into the round of 24 and then the round of 16 over and over for a long time, but I have a feeling today's group might pose a challenge. 2 seasons ago, you suffered a defeat after running into Speed. Piano is quite a seasoned veteran himself, so he is difficult to predict. And in the Tier 2 slot of the group, lo and behold, it's Flash. What is he doing here, you might think? I venture today's group complicates things for you a little. While the groups are selected at random, I am not that good compared with the other Tier 1 players, and yet, the strongest Tier 2 player, the strongest Tier 3 player, and the strongest Tier 4 player are all here, so yeah, it's a big burden. So I prepared a lot more. And going up against this well-prepared Rush in the first match is Piano. Let's talk to him as well. Hi. Hi. First of all, it's so nice to see you. Yeah, it's been a while. You're being greeted here on stage by the fans after a long 7 seasons since season 14. Right, and you did commentate the open season. Yes, and now you're joining it as a player. Right. How are you feeling? You know, I came down here and as I was getting my makeup done, the makeup lady asked me what it is I'm commentating today. I explained to her that I'm actually playing. I came here as a player. And that's when it hit me. Right, I'm playing again. If coming down here for the round of 24, you manage to advance to the round of 16, you will be leaving quite a mark as a player. In the qualifiers, you had quite a proud showing, having beaten Stork and Lava to advance, and I'm sure you will have something to show today in this 4-Terran group. I qualified due to mistakes, but even though that's the case, perhaps I can keep advancing off of mistakes. Piano, if the mistakes continue, that's not mistakes, that's skill. Right, well, in any case, seeing how I have already qualified, I'll try and do my best to give the viewers a little dopamine rush. The group is a bit of a headache for me, so I just came here with a mindset to enjoy playing in it. I think it'll be really fun. Can't wait to see what impact on this group Piano ends up having. The next player we will talk to is someone we haven't seen in a really long time indeed. It's been 2,000 days since you played in front of the fans in Season 10. Flash, hello. Hello. Good to see you again. You're receiving a very warm welcome. This must feel so fresh. How are you feeling? First of all, I'm sorry that it's been so long, but I prepared very diligently to pay you guys back. I'll show you good games. You showed up at the studio very early today. I'm sure you're eager to show the fans what you've got again, but likewise, the fans have been eagerly waiting to see you. And it shows in the pre-game predictions, as almost 70% of the viewers predict you to advance in first place. It's unthinkable for Flash to get knocked out in the round 24. If it was back in the day, it would have been 90%, but I do find myself lacking now. I aim to rediscover my skill as I move on to the round of 16, the round of 8, find my form from the days of yore, and go for the championship. I'm the only one who can get a 5-time championship, seeing how Sulky has already been knocked out. I don the uniform and I can see that championship. I will work really hard. You want to show us the stars on your uniform? Look at Flash's uniform with 4 stars on it. Can't wait to see if Flash's ambitions are going to result in another star being added this season. Let's now talk to Tier 3 player Speed. Hi. Hi. You've grown into a respectable player who joins the ASL on the regular. How are you on this, your 5th season in a row? I did not expect to make it in 5 times with such ease. Anytime I play, I just qualify. I kind of sense you are way more nervous now than you were in the previous seasons. I would venture to guess it's because your first opponent here is this giant of a player in the ASL. Now, many people will remember that you used to play under the ID of 10-minute Flash, but both you and Flash have changed in comparison with the past. You're a Terran too. And you've got things to show today, don't you? Well, I kind of feel sorry for having used that 10-minute Flash ID. Anyway, I'll try to show my best today. Can't wait, Speed. Now, looking at today's group, I bet there's one potential match the fans would be looking for, and that's what if Rush and Flash end up playing? You've got this, right? Remember? Why are you doing this to me? Now, everyone will surely remember what I'm talking about, but just as a refresher, back in the season where Flash went random, these two met in the round of 8, where Rush made a statement claiming that the match was winnable. But Flash rolled every single race and won with all of them, which many people will remember, but this Rush has a whole career under his belt in comparison with a Rush back then. What do you say, Rush? Do you think you will end up playing? After that season, I kept making it into the round of 8. I have improved since then, and having improved, I would like to try my chances against Flash. Flash, what do you say? I know he has improved, and I do think he plays well, but I'm still confident. I would like to play against Rush again. Can't wait to see if this match between the two does come to fruition. Now, for these 4 Terrans, this really will be a fight where the best man wins, as fundamentals are ever so important in TVT. Now, Speed hasn't played that many TVTs, but his win rate is 75%. And with how experienced Piano is, I am curious to hear what the two think of one another. Piano, as a commentator, you will have also analyzed Speed's playstyle. Right, but first things first, I'm going up against Rush, so I fully focused my strength on that one. You said Speed has a 75% win rate? When it comes to me, my win rate is 19%, and if you add those together, you don't even get 100% though. In any case, numbers and values are not everything, and I aim to prove it today. Piano is suggesting that Speed's 75% win rate doesn't bother him. Speed, how do you rate Piano's Terran? He always has some timing in him, so there's a chance I would lose today. I'll try to stay sharp and make sure that I don't lose. Our 4 players are determined as ever. Let's close things out with their final remarks this time for real. Piano, please. I'm starting? Yes. Whenever I come down here, it's in the capacity of a commentator, so allow me to indulge myself. First of all, I would like to thank our team at Ino University. You know, almost all of our student members came down here today, so I'd like to wholeheartedly express my thanks. Also, Zeus from DM. For some reason, he sat down on this side to cheer for Rush. This makes no sense. I'm confused. I have no idea why he would do that. And for helping me practice, Hani and Haya, thank you. Should I end up giving another interview and have the time for it, I'll go into a bit more detail. Thank you. Piano already giving his thanks might be the secret strategy he needs to achieve victory. Let's hear what Rush has to say too. I would like to go far this season, so I practiced a lot. I'll win and advance. Thank you. Good. Flash? It's been almost... Well, it's been a while. I'm happy to be here. I really worked very hard. For over a week, I'll show it with my performance. Can't wait. And lastly, Speed, a word please. I'll show entertaining games. Looking forward to it. Let's put our hands together in anticipation of great games from these 4. We've just heard from our 4 players ahead of Group E of the round of 24 here at ASL Season 21, done in partnership with Google Play. Which 2 Terrans will stay alive today? It's time to start the games.
Okay, it is time to get into this. And look at the tiers, Artosis.
Yeah.
I guess I can't say that I necessarily disagree. I mean, Rush has been so strong and Flash was gone, right?
Yep. Like, you have to look at it in recent times. Like, Rush is like one of these guys that's always around top 8, and Flash has been gone for like 4 years, so it does make sense. Of course, it's been a long time since Oregon has been in. It's good to have him back. I don't have super high hopes for how well he can do today, because he is definitely a level below these other guys, but he's a clever guy, so we'll see what his games are going to look like. But yeah, looking at the group, it is a good group as far as TVT goes. We have like a lot of different styles here, and in fact, I think Speed for a best of 1 against Flash is about as good as you're going to get at the potential of upsetting him. Speed has really dialed in ladder builds, which... You know, if Flash were to misstep, if he were to read a situation wrong, which, you know, is hard to imagine, that's a situation where maybe Speed can do something, pull something off, get some vultures in, kill some SCVs, and get that advantage.
I mean, your best bet against Flash is a best of 1, right? I mean, the more games you have against him, the harder it is to come out on top of that. So this is going to be a challenge in some ways for Flash, right? I mean, he's got to be very careful. One thing about Flash is he's always seemed to have an extremely good eye for the early game. Like, it's pretty hard to ever pull one over on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was just streaming myself play today on my Twitch stream, and like, You know, sometimes people do stuff that's so weird or so unusual. You know, you might only see that once in 100 or even like 500 games, right?
Yeah.
And you know, someone like Flash will still be able to identify even a couple different tells and go, "Oh, I see what this is. And stop it."
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of the, I think, you know, among many of his skills, that's one of his strongest, is he just seems to navigate the early game so perfectly. Never over defending.
Yeah.
Never overextending in an attack. Also randomizing his own builds very well. You know, he's just an incredible player.
Yeah, people basically were agreeing. I remember Jinjin had this great translated video after his random run where the pros were like, it's not his macro and his micro, it's his knowledge. Like they had to nod towards it. Like he knew about a very obscure hidden Zerg versus Zerg build on Plasma, if you remember, where you like rush spore colonies on your opponent's creep, and like the Zerg pros were like, what? Like they were hiding it. Like a couple of the top guys in Flash already knew, and it's like his knowledge is really second to none. But he's not playing in this game. We're gonna have Oregon, aka Piano, going up against Rush, and okay, so. A few things here, right? Like everyone knows Rush. If you don't know Oregon, he is like a little, like I don't know his actual age, but he is an older player. Like he was, I remember the first time I saw an Oregon game when he was very first coming up, I got a hold of a replay of him versus Slayer's Boxer on Luna. And I was like, who is this Piano guy? And he looked so good. Now, he never really delivered in the leagues in the prime of his career, but he's always been strong. He's a very smart guy. He's an analytical guy. He's got a lot of strategies. He does mostly commentary. Still obviously a strong player, but mechanically he can't keep up with the other three players. So he has to bring really, really good strats and builds here today if he wants to have a chance.
It's going to be tough going up against Rush. One of the, I would say, top 2 Terrans in the last 5 years here.
Yes.
I mean, just looking incredible, hyper modern. It's going to be a fun one, guys. TVT all night. Let's get into this. Match 1 here in Group B on Octagon. Rush versus Oregon, starting now. Okay, cross spawns here. Rush in the bottom right and Oregon in the top left. And, you know, it's funny. I think you're right, Artosis. I think Oregon, whether or not he is actually, as age, the oldest or one of the oldest players in the ASL, this guy's definitely been around forever.
Yeah.
You know, you and I, we're not like Gen 1 StarCraft players either as foreigners, which I think some people think we are. There was a whole generation of guys that were before us,
strong players,
like for like XDS Gur, D22 So.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of these guys were pre-replay. Like you had to go to a website called battlereports.com.
Yep.
To like read, people would screenshot the games, and it was basically early blogging. And then, you know, there was like even a little generation after that. Maybe we're like 3rd generation for like really competitive. I'm not sure. I haven't really put much thought into it. But the reason why I'm bringing this.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just finish this thought here real quick. The reason why I'm bringing it up is I remember seeing Oregon playing around when we were playing really early on.
Yeah, he was playing like I said, the first time I found out about him was a game against Slayer's Boxer on Luna to show you like how long ago he was coming up. But yeah, it is quite true. Like I remember, well, I mean, there's so much history that we could end up talking about with everything. But yeah, like I guess I'm not sure exactly when you started playing competitively. I remember I met you in 2003 online. We started playing WG Tour against each other. But yeah, I started playing tournaments and stuff in like 2000, I think. So
we had StarCraft in the house, but we didn't have internet in my house yet.
Yes.
So like I was obsessed with wanting to play online, but then when we finally got that, I think I was a little bit later than some other people, but I remember seeing Piano on like Game Eye server, or maybe it was Brain as well. I remember actually getting just a few games against him. He was really like always god tier. I don't think I ever took a game off him, but yeah, he's been around for an extremely long time. Like one of the oldest school players here, and it's cool that he's still ASL viable.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised he made it, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But he's sending out 2 SCVs, which is Not something you ever see. He's scouting both the close bases. He, without a doubt, has a really teched out build here. Like, I don't know what the hell it's going to be. And his second SCV is going to give this away super hard, unless he's going to, like, bring it around to proxy something. Because the SCV of Rush just passed Oregon's SCV on the left-hand side. So you don't want to show a second SCV, or you're already giving away so much. Like, if I saw another SCV pop into my main base when that one could not have made it yet, I would immediately put down a second factory, because I know I'm being cheesed.
Yeah.
So he's got to be very careful about this. And the thing is, he knows these things. This guy is really smart. He has great builds. And he knows his limitations. Like, in the qualifiers, if I recall correctly, it was Stork that he eliminated on day 1. And it was just, oh yeah, look at this proxy factory.
Wow.
It was just with like really, really kind of cheesy, aggressive drops everywhere. Like, he was just killing probes over and over and just followed it up with like a 6-fact and killed him. That's the type of game he needs to play, because if you get into like a 20-minute macro game, he will fall behind. So anyways, this is a 2-factory, one near the base of Rush.
So Rush is going to scout the top left now. He did a Z scout or N scout, whatever you want to call it. But basically, you scout the exact opposite spot last, because you have a different build if you're in cross spawns. And Oregon's going for, like, I think a really strong move. Whoa. Oh,
that's painful.
My God. This got in. Oh, okay. My God. That's insane. That was not supposed to happen. So Oregon's going to go for a factory float, which is super old. And for a while, it was like everybody did this the first year or two the game was out, and then everybody had to stop because it was just like, it's not going to work, you know? But in this case, there is a blind spot here. He's started the Vulture, but you have to be suspicious, right? When you see no starport, no second factory, no expand. And the Vulture misses this. The Vulture, this is perfectly in the blind spot here of Rush's main.
Yeah.
So Rush could still be hit really hard here. The question is, how many Vultures do you make? Do you want to get up to 3? God, it feels so greedy, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. If they don't scout it now, they're probably never going to scout it until it's too late.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And the fact that his SCV was dodged by that Vulture, like, if you're looking at this right now, you actually think it's 1-fact, 1 starport. Oh my God, Oregon is out of position here in the Vulture. He can't let that in. Now, here come... Oh, my God. He lays mines. He has mines, Tasteless. He's going to trap tanks that are coming out.
How did that mine...
Man.
Okay, the mine did actually damage that tank. Oh, my God. He's going to repair it. He's got to be super patient here, Rush does.
Yeah,
he's going to
really...
try to just stay
Oof.
At a distance here. He's going to come in with another Vulture. He can plant a mine and maybe try to stuff this tank. Oh! Oh, my God. The other tank covers for the injured tank. So they're both going to stay alive. There's a push coming here in the front. This is all intended to end the game right away, by the way.
Yeah. Well, he does need to. Like, Rush will outpower him later on. And it looks like, well, Oregon is getting a huge amount of damage done here for sure.
Yeah. The bunker is going to be really helpful here. But, I mean, can he actually hold this attack off? It's 2 tanks inbound here. More Vultures are coming out. He's going to make a proxy starport. I love what Oregon's doing here. This is so sick.
Yeah, he is cheesing as hard as he can at the moment. He uses the little bug where you float right over the bunker and it can't shoot. There is a Wraith here, which is a little bit problematic. His 2 Marines actually were taking fire from that bunker, so they're not going to fare as well against this Wraith, and the Wraith is able to take them out. And look at that great play from Rush here, bringing his tank up on the outside.
Oh my God, I think Rush might be holding here. I know that Rush is going to not have that many SCVs here. The thing is, the Wraith can come out and kill this damaged Wraith, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to save the day here, because there's just not... Oh my God, it's a second proxy starport. I love this build. It's so funny.
Dude, I've never seen a build that looked like this. Like, I've seen factory
First
floats.
time in my life I've seen this.
Yeah, with 2 factories and 2 starports here is absolutely insane. And the fact that he's making them one after another at the same SCV, normally for something like this, you'd be like, okay, I have to optimize getting 2 starports out right away. But he's actually just sitting there making them. And the funny thing is, like, there's actually some real logic behind the way he's doing this, where it's like, okay, yes, I have siege tanks, I have Vultures, and then, so Rush is sitting here with 1 starport making Wraiths, but as soon as Oregon has more Wraiths, he might be able to go in and finish the game.
This is so crazy.
Like, yeah, he's going to be able to kill, like, every Wraith. And as soon as you kill every Wraith, it's like, what is he going to do? Is he going to make a starport? I mean, is he going to make an eBay? That's going to take too long. Is he going to make an armory? That's going to take too long. Rush is in real trouble right now.
Yeah. Rush is not making more Wraiths. He stopped at 2. He assumes he's basically cursed the progress of any kind of air domination. He just has to try to push in here and reclaim this. But, you know, when there's like 4 Wraiths coming in here, that's going to kill everything.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if you'll be able to get an engineering bait done.
I can't believe this. Look at this. Rush is actually about to scout that there's 2 ports, and already there's more Wraiths here. He's screwed. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't come back from that. He has too many Wraiths. He's going to have 5 Wraiths. There's none being made. He just started an armory. You can literally just kill every SCV making... You can just kill every SCV. He'll kill every SCV before Goliath is out.
He needs to go down there, though. He needs to actually go down there and start attacking that SCV.
For
now, he's going to ignore it. He's just going for every SCV in the worker line. There's been so many killed SCVs here. We're almost to the tipping point.
Yeah. No, I think we're already there. Like, even if he weren't to kill the SCVs making the armory, that's the easiest way. But, like, he'll have so many Wraiths that even when a Goliath comes out, he'll just kill it. This is not winnable anymore, I don't think. Like, yeah, GG. That's insane.
Dude,
that's insane.
Look at, oh my God. He's so happy. Oregon, also known as Piano. You know, we were just talking about how old school this guy was. I mean, from like maybe 2nd generation, you know, StarCraft 1 pro gamers here. He's stuck with the game the whole time. He just took out Rush. Could he possibly do it one more time? I mean, we got to assume it's going to be him going up against Flash. Maybe it's speed. I don't know. Maybe it's a day of insane upsets, but he's hyped on it. I respect it.
Yeah.
And by the way, what a great build. What a great build.
Never seen that one in my life, Tasteless. And I'm afraid that now I'm going to see it on the ladder for a few days. I think I'm going to be losing some TVTs coming up, some cheese. But he did a great job. Totally original build.
I've seen the factory float. I've seen the starport proxied after that. I've never seen the second one. So cool. Guys, Flash for Speed coming up next.
Dangerous. It's getting dangerous. It's getting dangerous. It's getting dangerous. Getting dangerous. There's danger in your eyes. It's tempting blessing in disguise. Oh, I'm falling for your lies. Welcome to paradise. There's danger in your eyes. It's tempting blessing in disguise. Oh, I'm falling for your lies. Welcome make the world go round. So when I move it, make the world go round. Understand? I got another crown on the way. Better move around, I don't play. All I do is destroy. I can see why you hating. Everybody hating every round. Everybody hating. It's going down. Everybody hating at the top. Everybody hating. Don't stop. Everybody hating. I got another crown on the way. Better move around, I don't play. All I do is destroy. I can see why you hating. Everybody hating every round. Everybody hating. It's going down. Everybody hating at the top. Everybody hating. Don't stop. Everybody hating. I got another crown on the way. Better move around, I don't play. All I do is destroy. I can see why you hating. Everybody hating every round. Everybody hating. It's going down. Everybody hating at the top. Everybody hating.
ASL Season 21 24강
We are back, and it's time for the Flash game. But before we get into that, what a cool game there from Oregon. I love that rush. It was close, man. It looked like when that final tank had been killed off with the Wraith, the Wraith defeating the two Marines, part of the rush from Oregon. It seemed like it was over, but that second starport.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's never even occurred to me. You almost like phase out of the factory text into the starport tech. And a lot of times that's where the tipping point is.
Yeah, well, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. I definitely didn't think of it. I've never seen it. But yeah, that's kind of the nature of Wraith battles, especially that early into the game. If you get that overwhelming advantage, your opponent at that point doesn't have very much. That was so well thought out by Oregon, and those are the types of plays he needs to do. Like, honestly, if I was one of these like god tier other Terrans in the group, I would consider just opening up with like my own 2 factory, because you're going to have probably a better shot, because Oregon will have thought out, he's like, I know they're going to expand, because that's what everyone does, Terran versus Terran. How do I kill it? And he needs to do that, because like Oregon is great, but like he will not keep up in a longer game. He needs builds like that, and I mean, brilliant execution. Hats off to him. If he gets out of this group, this is the sickest upset run ever.
Yeah, I mean, that would be such a story. In a group that, honestly, I mean, beyond the hype of Flash coming back here, this is what you would imagine to be a very straightforward group, right?
Yeah.
But already crazy results. So Flash versus Speed is coming up here. Now, Speed has been, I think, incredibly strong in the last several ASLs. He's been very active. He ladders intensely. So he's going to have a very modern, kind of well-rounded, meta-ish TVT coming in here. Flash, we don't know. He's shown some of his practice, but he's also been careful to kind of conceal a lot of the ideas he's going to bring into this, because obviously this is such a studied player, such a sought-after player to watch. I mean, even for me, I don't play Terran at all these days, but I will absolutely, if I can, watch some games of Flash just to see how he moves and how he thinks, And this is a big day here for Flash. Let's not forget, he was gone for a while. Left, backed out of a couple ASLs, said he was going to come back, and had issues with his, I believe it was his forearm and part of his wrist. I know he's had a couple of operations there. And, we got to see what kind of shape is he going to be in. See that little hot pack? He is pressing that up against his palms and wrist. He wants those tendons to be nice and loose. so his fingers can be fast and nimble. I think we all expect him to advance here today, but that's going to be a big blow if he doesn't. Showing up after all this hype to ASL and possibly getting knocked out.
Well, the guy is dialed in right now, so I'm feeling him getting out of here, and you could see his ridiculous record there as well. But don't sleep on Speed. Speed has shown us that he has really, really fantastic Terran versus Terran. And this is something I've talked about a lot. The very top pros don't practice mirrors as much as the set of pros below them. It's just, that's the way it is. Fans don't want to see mirrors as much. We've talked about this. And Speed has been one of the top ladder players for years and years and years. So his Terran versus Terran is very meta and very dialed in. So there is potential here. All right, these guys are excited, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what happens here. Very excited to have Flash back here and to see what ideas he's going to bring. A lot of the ways he plays the game just changes what everybody does. So tonight could have a massive impact on the TVT meta overall. By the way, we've had so many TVTs here. We've had more TVTs in this round of 24 than we've had in some entire seasons of ASL.
That's for sure.
But we're definitely going to have some special ones here with Flash, though, today. So Flash for Speed, game 2 of the evening starting now. Okay, we've got Flash here in the top left, Speed in the bottom left. Real quick plug, guys, consider signing up for the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ASL. We'd love to earn your support. We would not be able to do this without you.
Yeah, /ASL English, not /ASL.
I'm so sorry.
And they're going to support American Sign Language. Don't support those guys. Support the ASL.
They're going to go support age, sex, location. That's what it meant on AOL.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. Anyway, sign up if you would.
Yes. Thank you so much to everyone. Yeah. Look at that. 1,971 days since he has played in ASL. And that last ASL run, he got top 4 with random, which was pretty wild. And he like didn't random into Terran at all, if I recall correctly, in that top 4. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but that was like one of the more impressive runs that he's done, going with random to a top 4. Yeah, TVT. Look at this. His win percentage is so much higher than everyone else's. Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. 76.8. I mean, if you have a win percent even in like, 65, something like that, that's unheard of. So,
yeah.
It's so sick to see that he's looking that strong coming into this. By the way, Flash had that run with random. Some people have asked me, is there anything that could be more epic than that? I would almost say it'd be even crazier if he did it like an ASL run with Protoss or Zerg.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because like random comes with these sort of unfair advantages just because build order openings get so specific, especially like on 4-player maps. If you're against someone who's random and you scout them last, you can just be in sort of a build order loss. I mean, when you're on ladder, everybody sort of has a method to play against it. And usually they play some kind of an odds game. But yeah, at pro level, seeing him do that was pretty crazy. But, if he ever flirts with the idea publicly of coming back as either a Zerg or a Terran, I would welcome it. Or sorry, a Zerg or a Protoss, I would welcome it for a season. I think that'd be hype. I'd love to see a random run again. But no matter what, I guess we're going to have to see him try it with Terran first, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, he says this is probably his last ASL unless his wrist gets better. We'll see about that. And a very fast command center, by the way. Very, very fast. But yeah, he has done things like used Protoss a lot. There was once upon a time years ago, he was #1 on the ladder with Terran and #7 with Protoss. So like the guy, maybe he could do something like that someday. I would love to see that though, and I do agree that would be more impressive than a random run. All right, so looking at the builds, this is like not quite command center first. This is the new gases expansion people have been using. We did see that once yesterday. Where you go like a later barracks into the command center. And yeah, it's super, super fast expand. And he's going to get down here and scout what Speed is up to, which is just a factory expansion. And that's pretty heavily favored for Flash as far as build orders go.
So we've got the SCV coming up now. Flash is going to, oh God, is this going to be the second game where an SCV just gets through? It looks like he decides to turn around. The placement of the barracks and the egg would have had that curve around, so the Marines probably would have killed it anyways. Flash is a player who seems to understand so much about how everything operates in the early game, all the possible outcomes you could have based off what you see, what they see, and what good strategies are available in the game. I know we were talking about this a little bit more in the previous game, but I just want to reiterate it again. He almost never gets one pulled over on him. It's very rare, if ever, that Flash is surprised or cheesed out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's one of his strongest suits. He also just seems to know a lot of the weird, extremely obscure, circumstantial things that can happen in a Brood War game. Like, I was watching him, and I think it was a video where he was teaching TY, when TY was switching back to StarCraft 1. And he was explaining that, like, in this rush, what you have to remember is that your second or third vulture, I think it might have been a third vulture, always gets stuck behind, like, the fourth or fifth Marine.
Yes. When busting a Nexus. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you have to grab that vulture always and manually pull it around. And I think he's the only kind of guy that would just look at that and point it out and just know that's a thing, instead of just being someone who's kind of a high APM player who's checking everything. He just goes, no, at this moment, this is a common bug you'll have to interact with, and just nip it in the butt.
Yeah. No, absolutely the case. His knowledge is really what sets him apart. The thing is, he's top at every single aspect, but his knowledge is like levels above everyone. Now, he's going 4 factory vulture, hiding the 4th factory. So he is going to have map control of these vultures. Speed actually should probably make a bunker at this point. Like this, there is some big danger coming his way because he is making a lot of vultures here. Like, he's got really fantastic mines set up. Wait, if he stays out here and Speed finishes for Flash, he's going to lose. He has to be so... Okay, he's getting back home. That made me nervous for a moment. Like, I can't tell you how many games I've lost Tastosis trying to lay mines, and then Speed finishes for my opponent. I lose every vulture. It's like, no, you have to get home. And now his vultures are dancing on each other. Okay, they actually stop, so he'll be fine here. But he does need to get back in a very defensive position. Like, with the 4 factories against 2, this is super, super dangerous for Speed.
This is a little scary. I do feel like this is a situation where Speed should be able to hold, though. You know, it's a very common situation to experience on ladder here from Terran. Like, mass vulture's not unheard of. With the 4th factory hidden, I don't know that he's going to spot it. I don't know. I don't think that was...
Yeah, his barracks did see the edge of it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, his barracks did see that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I think this is pretty straightforward. Speed has to turtle up. Flash should not be able to get in here.
And it looks like Flash... Yeah, he just got mines, so he's going to be able to lay like 1 million mines out on the map. There's an armory. He's getting Academy right now. Speed is going up to 4 factories. 2 siege tanks, so that's like... I don't think you want to attack into there. But yeah, Flash definitely in control of this game. You can see he's already up about 10 supply, but it is mostly vultures. It is a little bit SCVs too. He has a lot of SCVs, obviously, with the command center being so fast.
This one vulture is going to be in here, just taking out any SCVs he can get. This vulture already paying for itself by getting that final SCV and forcing Flash to come back a little bit. So Flash not really making a dent in here. If his second gas is going to finish, Speeds was already done for a little while. So map control going to Flash for now. But, you know, he can't really do a whole lot with this. I mean, Speed has more tanks. And he's going to be powering up. The scanners are about to finish here for Flash. I don't believe they've even started here for Speed. So Speed is still powering up with more SCVs.
Yeah, he will catch up, I guess, on SCVs in that regard. But, like, without... scans, you have to be really careful, because if Flash gets scans before you and switches into tanks, that's like how a lot of Terran versus Terran games get lost, is the guy who has map control gets tanks to your base. So he has to be really careful with that. Oh my god, Tasteless. That is... I mean, you can't think of a worse thing to have happened here to Speed.
I can't believe that happened. I mean, I don't imagine that it was like maybe Flash is so good with his mind placement, he kind of knew the way that he would come out. He would be hit in a weird arc like that. That's kind of insane. It seems very reckless from Speed, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it is.
You know, that's... Well, that sucks, because I think this game was more interesting a little bit ago.
Yeah.
He's sieged up over here, but of course Flash with all these vultures can just back out and lay more mines.
If Flash gets up to this high ground, the game is very close to done at that point. So Speed is trying to take the high ground, but look at how many units Flash has. It's just crazy. And Flash sieges up at perfect range here and is just going to massacre absolutely everything.
Yeah, perfect one-shot on that tank with the 3 siege tanks. And I think he's going to keep closing in here. He's got more units rallying down. He's got a decent number of vultures coming forward here. He's going to siege up these tanks, split the tank shots here to wipe out the tanks basically perfectly. And now 1 tank remaining is going to retreat. Oh, my God. Is he going to keep pushing with his own tanks here?
Yeah. Well, if he just has a contain up in this general area, like, you can't even get out of there. And he's got 5 factories right now. Speed is going to 6. He did make a command center. I don't think he has a starport. Yeah. So, like, you can't even try to wiggle your way out with the Wraith. But look at that. Even if he did, Flash already has a Goliath down here. And he's just setting up more siege tanks. Whenever this happens, it almost doesn't... Like, if Speed had that position against Flash, Speed would win the game. You know, like, even though Flash is, like, the greatest ever. Like, this is so hard to break at this stage of the game. You just can't let this many tanks be set up in front of you. And he even has a barracks spotting. Like, he's already spotting for it, too. You know, nothing is missing from Flash's play.
Usually in TVT, when you get to around this phase of the game, they're both fighting for control in the middle of the map because both sides can't let this happen. But Speed lost all those tanks to the mines. And then, you know, with all these crazy number of vultures, Flash was able to come down and basically shove him into this corner. And there's always this attacker's disadvantage in siege tank versus siege tank because you have to run up and soak up some siege tank shots before you can do anything. Great mine placement. Whoa!
Nice mine there.
Hold up.
Really well done. Really well done. Oh my God, look at Flash here. He's like losing a lot of his tanks. Is Speed gonna break out? No, not quite.
Well, the problem is he gets pushed to the staircase, which is a high ground, right? Like, you'll take even more ground if you can. The tanks are going to come down here again, and he can do a spamming of mines right here. And it looks like, oh, there's 1 mine right up here. He does target it. Nicely done. He's going to unsiege 2 more tanks up here as well. Speed is fighting back pretty hard. The question is going to be, can he get SCVs transferred here? Can he get this base properly defended? It's still really hard to fight from this position because there's a low ground to high ground disadvantage. He's going to come through here with a couple of SCVs. The vultures are going to come into the front. Good targeting with the tanks here. Flash able to fire over those vultures, using his own vultures to gun down these mines. There might be too many mines planted over here. Oh my God, the targeting's insane.
Yeah, he targets every single mine down, just takes no damage there. Absolutely crazy from Flash. But I'll say this, Tastosis, if Speed hadn't run into the mines and lost 2 tanks and a Goliath, like, at the beginning, like, he is so close to breaking out of this containment. Just a few more units might have made the difference, for real.
Yeah, now these SCVs are pulled, but there's not enough here, I think, to make a difference. So he's basically losing workers. A lot of these were SCVs that were actually at the 3rd base. And it just feels like it's a slow motion losing battle here for Speed. Speed has this expansion right there that you can't really get any workers to. And Flash is already on 3 bases, looking really healthy. He's continuing to grow. And I don't know, man. It's not looking good for Speed. It might take Flash misstepping or overextending, maybe, for him to lose this game.
And Flash is already on top of basically everything else, too. Like, he's running around with vultures, cleaning up Speed's vultures that got out, and he's going into 2 starport Wraith. He knows that there's no money to make Goliaths here. Like, his opponent has to have a lot of tanks. And look at these Wraiths coming out. I think this is going to... Well, it's going to be able to pick off the barracks, and then he can't even see, and everything can move forward.
Well, he's going to try to inch in here now. taking a little bit of damage on those Wraiths, I think, is probably okay, considering that, you know, there's really no other way to break out if you don't have enough tanks. Both sides are getting damage on their barracks. At this point in time, Speed is relying on these huge counterattacks to come out and do damage. But so far, they haven't done that much. He's going to come through with a lot of vultures over here and maybe try to hit the natural. No Marine in that bunker, by the way, so these vultures can run through unimpeded.
He brings back some of his own vultures to fight back against this. Speed will get a little bit of damage, but like this doesn't matter that much for Flash. Well, he's going to get good SCVs at the other base too, so he is actually hurting the economy actually more than anticipated here. So definitely some good vulture usage, but the main problem is the siege tanks in front of his base as well as a bunch of Wraiths.
Big push out over here. Flash needs to target wisely. He is picking off the tanks that are in range. Now the SCVs are going to come up here. None of the mines are actually able to quite reach the tanks. It looks like Speed's going to send a couple more up here. And Flash, again, the targeting has been pretty perfect. Basically, no mines actually going off on those tanks.
He maintains just enough Goliaths to keep those Wraiths back, and the Wraiths not being quite as effective as I think Flash wanted them to be. And in fact, we can see there's actually a huge gas bank here for Speed. He's been mostly making vultures with those extra factories. But Flash right now just continues to keep this containment up. And, oh God, Speed's going to try to break again. Let's see if he's able to actually kill some of these tanks. Going to kill maybe a couple there on the bottom, but Flash just... He always has his rally coming down just in time to have more tanks on that high ground.
Yeah, there's just not quite enough, you know, and Flash already up on one base for so long right now. There are vultures that have been sent out. They're going to try to wrap around over and hit 12 o'clock. At the same time, though, this command center is not really mining. He's going to send more SCVs there. And, you know, with the vulture run around, I mean, maybe this is going to slow Flash down a little bit.
Yeah, Speed is, like, it's admirable how much he's getting done. He has killed a ton of SCVs. You can see Flash actually getting away from the areas. He's trying to get Flash to keep more units at home. He's, like, kind of seesawing back and forth, you know? He sends vultures out. He's dealing damage. He's making Flash keep some units back. And then he tries to bust again. Like, it's actually, I'm in many ways more impressed with what Speed is doing here. It's such a difficult position, and he's approaching it so well. I feel like he would have broken out of this contain against most pros already.
Yeah, I mean, Speed is putting up a crazy good fight. I love the mines over here. This could actually clear these tanks out. Nice cloak here with the Wraiths. Every time, it's just barely not quite enough.
He's so close, so I think he's going to actually get all the tanks now. And he does. He finally kills every tank, but oh, here's some more.
Yeah, I was going to say, here's the tanks and vultures that were cleaning up that run around there. And I think he's going to be able to reassert himself here. Again, having things on the stairs is so strong. The high ground to low ground advantage. There's nothing that's anti-air here, so he has to scramble and use his own SCVs to try to repair this. More Wraiths continue to come in here in the fight.
Man, Flash just kind of relentless with this pressure, just barely holding on to this nonstop. But Speed sending out his vultures once again. He's been so successful with these. And Goliath finally comes out to push these Wraiths back. And he needs to stop this one tank that's hitting his third command center. Like, his vultures are the one thing keeping him in this game. He can't lose this mineral base.
I mean, Speed's put up a crazy good fight, honestly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of other players would be dead right now. So, I mean, it is still impressive. The problem is these tanks, the line just keeps spreading out over here. Notice how perfect Flash is at basically sending the vultures in between the tank shots, getting them in there, and that's when he plants the mines. The way he lets his army absorb damage in these different sequences is really something to admire. It's really, really impressive. In the same way that he's also targeting, whether it's tanks in the back or knowing when to let the his units target the mines or not target anything because the game has to kind of solve its own fight. It's really impressive.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that, but I think you're definitely right. Like he controls the battles so well. If he didn't utilize his targeting very well, like Speed was doing every Terran trick in the book for busting some of these, like bringing in a couple SCVs with it, running the vultures next to the tanks, laying the mines in different locations so the splash only kills one. Like he was doing everything, but Flash is like, no, I target tanks here, and those mines being laid, I'll target those with the vultures. So it's been a pretty tough one here for Speed.
He's about to thwart this counterattack. Really hard to get these units up the ramp. I love the mines being placed down here. Speed is growing into 6 o'clock, even though he lost his mineral only. The counterattack here from Speed is not going to do, I think, very much. It's getting sandbagged pretty heavily by the mines as well as the other tanks. Oh my God, and the SCVs, they weren't stopped, so a lot of this long-distance mining was causing them to be picked off. The natural is going to evaporate. And so Speed has maybe a minute or two into this game if he can't stabilize his position.
I'll tell you, like, Flash is the best at finishing Terran versus Terran. Like, the fact that he has maintained a 20-minute Terran versus Terran on 3 base only, and he's seen the path to victory the entire time. Very, very impressive. Speed trying to break out once more, loses every Goliath once again, and the Wraiths just continue to add up the damage. You can see GG comes out of Speed. Wow. Honestly, really impressive from both players. Really impressive. Speed might be a problem here for Rush.
Yeah, Speed played really well. I mean, Flash, he's done it again. He looked very, very perfect back there, but he had to work for it. I'll say that much. Speed in a really, really tough position for, like, I don't know, 80% of that game, but still doing these great counterattacks, still making Flash really work for that. Ultimately, there was no way for Speed to break the siege tank line at the stairs. When it was on even ground and no high ground advantage, he actually pushed Flash back a little bit and did a great job with those counterattacks. But when it came to the high ground to the low ground, that was tough. And that's a defining feature of that map. It's the same thing with lurker contains or any other kind of contain you see in any matchup that you can try, is that high ground area is brutal.
You can never let someone set up there in Terran versus Terran. Okay, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, the winner's match, Flash against Oregon.
Hear them say my name. You got me in the frame. Running laps around the game. I go crazy, so insane. I ain't come to play. This one ain't no throwaway. I'm up, I'm here to stay. Go hard or go away. Hear them say my name. You got me in the frame. Running laps around the game. I go crazy, so insane. I ain't come to play. This one ain't no throwaway. I'm up, I'm here to stay. Go hard or go away. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Go hard or go away. We got it. We on it. You not it. You want it. We got it. We on it. You not it. You want it. Let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Turn it up, let's bounce. Give it up, clap, clap, announce. We be on our way to slay. Turn it up, let's bounce. Give it up, clap, clap, announce. We be on our way to slay. You don't even know about us playing with the big boys like rah. You don't even know about me. Big girls, they them bougie like ooh. You like that? Stand up, yeah, we fight back. Like ooh, ignite that. Fuego, fire, fight back. We be slaying. Slay. Drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say. Drum, bum, 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 bum. We say. Drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say. Drum, bum, 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 bum. I live in my confidence. I take it up a level to a place where I be vibing in. Where I slay. You don't even know about us playing with the big boys like rah. You don't even know about me. Big girls, they them bougie like ooh. You like that? Stand up, yeah, we fight back. Like ooh, ignite that. Fuego, fire, fight back. We be slaying. Say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Turn it up, let's bounce. Give it up, clap, clap, announce. We be on our way to slay. Turn it up, let's bounce. Give it up, clap, clap, announce. We be on our way to slay. We be slaying. Say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum. Drum like hit, yeah, drum like that. We say, drum, bum, 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 bum.
(1998년부터) 시작된 프로도의 역사는 아직 끝나지 않았습니다. 새로운 역사의 시작 ASL 스타크래프트 리마스터 최초의 대회, 여러분들이 원하는 꿈의 축제 뜨거운 박수 열어가는 MC로 뚫어요. 역사적인 기록을
어려움은 나한테 아무것도 아니다. 가을의 주인공이
어게인 2000 바닥부터 시작해서 7년 만에 헤란의 새로운 왕권
최고의 선수
찌는 연초우승 정우왕조의 트로피를 이어받는 새로운 우승자의 이름은 박장현.
이런 선수들이 이런 멋진 경기를 팬들 앞에서 여전히 보여주고 있다는 것을
We're back. Thank you for waiting. Flash vs. Oregon coming up here. Oregon with just a crazy strategy to beat Rush. I mean, he's got to have something like that against Flash.
Yeah.
I don't I don't imagine Oregon goes and plays a straight-up macro game against Flash here, but who knows? What do you think, Artosis?
Yeah, I don't think he'll play, like, he could go all the way to the finals. I don't think we'll see one straight-up macro game from Oregon at all, because he is honestly the weakest player in the ASL, and that's not a dig against him. He's a great player, for sure. But yeah, he's not quite that same level, so he's going to have something. You can see he banned the big 4-player map. Actually, Flash did as well. So they're going to play on Jane Doe, which is a really weird map. But there's a huge defender's advantage here. So I think it is still a very good map for Flash. How could he lose this? I'm not sure, but I bet you Oregon's going to have something crazy.
Well, the fact that it's Jane Doe, I mean, if there was an unseen strategy in this tournament, it would be on Jane Doe. This map is very different. It's got unusual parameters. I don't know. Let's see. Obviously, Flash was able to watch that match with Rush versus Oregon, so he's going to be wary of, obviously not the same strategy, but the fact that Oregon's coming in here with some very, very new ideas. And again, the winner of this is out. Moving on into the round of 16, the loser goes to the losers match. In TVT number 3 here in Group E of our all TVT day. Okay, Flash on the right and Oregon on the left.
Man, I'm excited to see what they both open with here because, whoa. Oh, I thought he wasn't making an SCV. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait, is he going 6 racks? What's going on? But yeah, Jane Doe, because you can go 14 command centers so easily, that's kind of the tension. Oh, thank you so much. Poor Tasteless. I love that sign. It's great. Thank you guys. Appreciate the support. But what I wanted to say was, so command center first is obviously so strong on any map. Now, if Oregon has a snipe build for that, do you want to open with something a little bit more careful as Flash? Like, do you want to go barracks into your expansion? The thing is, I think Oregon will probably just go command center first and have whatever he's going to do that's tricky come after that. Because it's so hard to pull off a rush on this map, you have to kill both the Marines, you're going up a ramp, and it's just really difficult.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I mean, something weird and cheesy and unusual doesn't necessarily have to happen in the first, minute or two here. You can do an expand build and then tack into something kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, Flash putting up a very good fight in that last game and ultimately coming out with a win. Clearly, mechanically, he's all still there. I'm also interested in seeing if he does encounter any rest issues in this tournament. Like, let's assume he wins here and goes on.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you have injuries from the past, a lot of it comes down to, giving yourself enough time to rest and not letting that flare up. It's why, especially in these old school Star League formats, it can be a real burden if you start to have any wrist or forearm issues. In something that takes weeks and weeks to finish.
Yeah. Well, I think he's being very careful with it. He said something like he knows like how many games he can play in a given day before he aggravates the injury. It's like 10 or something like that, which that might sound like a lot, but it's not really,
It's not, yeah.
No, I guess my games are longer in general, but I definitely play in my little 5-hour stream each night, like far more than 10 games. So,
oh yeah, no, 100%. That's
it's not many
10
games
is almost as few as you could play it. I feel like in a session, because there's always a few games that are just a couple minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But in StarCraft 2, our player that had the biggest issue with that was probably Beyond, who seems like he's gotten better.
Yeah.
So, for those of you that are playing, if you come back and decide to pick up StarCraft again, because I know people are doing this every day, make sure you've got the right ergonomic setup at PC.
Yeah. So important.
And do stretches, nothing crazy, just some basic stretches, and do some forearm workouts. And if you really start to feel pain, stop. or you could totally injure yourself playing this game.
Make sure your elbows are straight on with your desk and you're comfortable. Like, just listen to your body. If you feel anything uncomfortable, you have to change what you're doing. That's like how I've approached it for a while now. When I started getting some ulnar nerve problems, like, it became like a huge priority to make sure I was playing comfortably.
Yeah, I actually could not play for years.
Yeah, that was
wrist
sad.
Problems for myself.
You were like very sad about that. That was.
Yeah, I was just like, I thought it was like this part of my life was over, but yeah, I mean, eventually, you recover and then you're in good shape, and I have no issues now. So we've got a proxied starport down here in the bottom center from Flash. I almost for a second flipped the players in my head because I was so convinced that Oregon would do something like this. But for now, Oregon's being the much more straight up player. He's got his double factories here. I didn't see a starport in the main, although that might start in a second here for Oregon.
Yeah, I kind of wonder. It looks like he's going to go just like a very safe opener. I mean, maybe I had Oregon pegged wrong. Like, going 2 factory with an armory is like, it's honestly not a build many people use because it's not particularly strong against anything. It's just like kind of a catch-all, and catch-alls are generally what more conservative macro players do to try to just make sure they have an answer for whatever crazy thing they might be hitting. I wonder with Flash, I think it's just going to be a vulture drop, right? And it makes sense that he wants to do a vulture drop because I think he just needs to get the scouting done. That's part of what I like about vulture drops, like, for instance, in Terran versus Protoss. Even if you don't kill many probes, at least you see everything they have,
Sure. So he's going to come into the main, I think. Or sorry, the expansion is what I meant to say. That little location in the back, and probably get a bunch of kills over there. And, this is a very big main that you start out with. It's a lot of area to cover here. And there's really no way to have a unit in each spot to ever deter this. So it's one of those things, when it hits, you have to brace for impact. You have to basically really control as well as you can and try to save as many workers as you can, but you will lose workers. There's no way to stop that.
Yeah. Oregon, I think he might actually be just planning like a 4-factory siege tank push. Like, I think he's actually looking to catch a vulture build, but he did not catch this drop. This drop coming in about as quickly as it possibly can, and he is so far out of position. This is a huge amount of SCVs going down already.
Okay, so he's got... Oh, could he actually save this third one? What?
What?
I mean, look, it's not like the vulture's that important to save, but like, could that have gone any better? Oh my God, mine hits this tank, and this tank's gonna get sniped by vultures.
Damn. And look at that, he drops off the vultures elsewhere, gonna lay some mines in the main base. Dude, Flash.
Oh,
he's
pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good at the game. Oh my God. I tell you, it's something I've been thinking about with Flash. I think it's actually like a very cool thing when there is a player like him. There's not too many games that have a player like Flash where like everyone agrees he's by far the best. It's like, what other games really have that? I mean, is Faker considered that in League? Like, I know from StarCraft, it's like, Serral in StarCraft 2.
You're like, is
right?
Michael Jordan considered that in basketball? It's like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, is Tiger Woods considered that in golf? I'm like, yeah, he is.
Well, no, because Tiger Woods isn't that good anymore. Yeah, maybe he's the GOAT or whatever. But I'm saying, like, is Faker considered right now the best player in the world?
I don't know enough about League to answer that question.
See, that's the thing.
I know in Age of Empires, it's Hera. There's, Serral for StarCraft 2. I don't know if I can think Happy for Warcraft 3, but then again, the question is, like, how goated? Because, like Tekken 7, there's Arslan Ash, but, I guess Flash, how many players have been good for like a decade plus, or the best for a decade plus?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
change it a little bit.
Not just GOAT, but current best too. It's like, damn. it's not too many, but it's like a cool thing to have and to watch. Where it's like he just runs circles around people. But I mean, Oregon is playing a good game overall, right? He's got kind of this interesting forward position. He's taken a third base. This is like I like what he's trying to do here. He's trying to utilize the high ground a little bit.
Yeah, I like this idea. It does feel like Oregon's kind of just feeding into Flash right now. He came with a push that didn't really go anywhere. Flash already with his third base up, steadily outpacing his opponent. Remember, Oregon lost SCVs earlier, expanded later, and is failing with his push. So he's starting to lose on all fronts.
Well, that's how it generally goes against Flash. You know, oh, okay. Is he going to go for more dropships here? I guess that makes sense. If Oregon's trying to push you really hard, you may as well try to get another little drop off. Flash right now with plenty of siege tanks. Oh, you know what? Oregon might try something really sneaky and like go around and appear above the like third base, I guess, like the forward natural of Flash. You can kill those temples. It takes a while though. They have a lot of health.
Yeah, he's going to lay a couple more mines here. There's no more tanks, so you can't really do anything. Oh, that's interesting. You know, we thought he was going to do a drop ship. I guess he wanted to have like a secondary setup for Wraiths to go for Cloak. Kind of mind gamey, even using a second area to have the add-on to do that research. But this is going to get shut down as well. He is going to go for the temple over here, Artosis.
Yeah.
By the way, Flash with +1.
You know what's kind of funny is, like, even though the Wraith plan, whatever plan he had with the Wraiths, didn't do anything, it at least showed him that Oregon is trying to, like, sneak around and be a little sneaky snake in the bottom right, right? Like, if siege tanks suddenly are on that high ground above your third base, that is hard to deal with. So at least he caught that. Just continuing to macro out. You can see his supply is starting to rise in comparison to Oregon. But Oregon is playing, like, very, very well. You know, like, I know I've been selling him as, like, mechanically he's not as good. And, well, he's not, but, like, he's putting out a really good game right now.
Yeah, he's putting up a good fight. It does seem like the walls are closing in a little bit here.
Yeah.
As Flash is just decimating all the tanks. And I think the counterplay here from Flash is going to be really strong. Oregon's going to try to sandbag this. He's going to go to the high ground. Flash is going to snake around to the other side. There's already tanks here. I mean, Oregon's doing a decent job.
Oh, and Flash doesn't get the best hits going uphill there. Oh, there he is. There he does. And Oregon is just losing so many tanks right now. God. Still has 6 tanks left after he kills every tank. What? So painful.
It's hard to capture it when you're watching, like the way that we are with an observer here. But if you watch when Flash plays, he's very good at box grabbing tanks and then selecting whatever the right target is to kill. And it's one of the reasons why he just seems to have a growing number of tanks where Oregon's is shrinking. It's a really tough thing to do mechanically because basically you have to, like, get right up to the range of the opponent, sometimes take a full-on hit, siege up, then analyze just through the very, very edge of the fog of war what's there and prioritize an attack.
Yeah. It's very difficult. Nada was known for being very good at that as well. The two best Terrans in the history of the game, both excelling at what to target with siege tanks. Huge skill.
It wasn't until sorry, Artosis, I didn't mean to run over you, man. Like, it wasn't until I got to see pro Terran players play in person that I even saw this whole concept of grabbing tanks and then right-clicking them in siege mode onto other stuff. Because my brother was Zerg and I was Protoss.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't occur to me, like, oh yeah, I guess you could just target a whole bunch of different things with different tanks.
Yeah. It's not just a straight attack move or a mute a click like you guys did.
I think we're at the end, by the way.
Yeah.
The SCVs are going to come down here, and, I mean, there's not even anything really to fight with them. So, I mean, we're seeing, you know, the collapse of Oregon here, and Flash basically speedrun out of this group. Really impressive, you know, early game to mid game, all the way to the phase that we're in right now here, kind of mid to late game. With Flash exploding on the map, Oregon shrinking down into 2 bases, and I would not be shocked if he taps out here with a GG in a second.
Well, it doesn't seem like there's too much left for him in this game. Like, he's trying to hold up in his main base, but he GG's. And Flash, to no one's surprise, will end up winning the group. His opponents put up good fights, you know? Like, they were doing their best, and and trying to make some plays, but Flash has a certain level of inevitability to him where you just watch and you're like, yeah, he's just doing everything too well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he just never fell behind really in any way. Great drops. Crazy to see him actually like dropping 4 vultures and then after killing a bunch of SCVs, saving 3. He used to drop again. It's just a sign of how strong he is. Oregon, obviously, I think there's no shame in losing to Flash, and I think he put up a pretty good fight. But what he needs to do now is be ready for that final match. He's going to get a chance to watch his opponents duke it out in the losers match. He's going to have to bring his best game back.
You're watching Group E of the round of 24 here at ASL Season 21 as we have our first player through to the round of 16 today. Let's bring Flash out on stage to greet him. Congratulations. Flash has returned. With your performance today, you have shown why, despite this 6-year break, everyone still fears you. You have shown that you still have got it. How are you feeling? Well, for starters, it's been 6 years, so now I'm back in the round of 16. I'll treat this as the real start and work hard to get another star. The casters have been saying that your form has not changed, as if there has been no break. Starting with how you optimize, to how quickly you tighten your grip on the opponent, to how that speed translates into your macro and your micro, how have you managed to not lose touch? Optimizing is my strong point, so I feel confident in that regard. In the winners match, Piano played more straightforward than I expected, so I felt relieved during the game as things turned out well. I wasn't properly warmed up in the first game and it didn't sit right with me, but playing that first match I warmed up and the games went well. I think that if I can get to the extended series, I might be able to challenge for the trophy. What exactly in that first game against Speed did not sit right with you? Well, for starters, I couldn't play the build I had prepared. Because of that, I had to improvise. I ended up playing situations I hadn't practiced for, so I didn't like the overall flow of the game. I missed SCVs too. I will have to work on some of these things. From our perspective as viewers, it seemed the game went nice and smooth. You also scouted first, and then afterwards you also got 2 tanks with spider mines, which then let you move out very quickly all the way past his ridge. But despite that, contrary to what you would expect, Speed held on for a very long time on the ridge. What was that like? I've always known he's good with vultures, but he used them even better than I thought he would. That threw me off. You know, it's a TVT, but in a situation like that, a game should be ended quickly. I got caught up in this fixed idea where I tried to end the match ASAP and things got messy. I'll make sure not to do that in future. Messy? I think you're the only person who felt it was messy. So now once again, after a very long time, we will get to see you in the group selection ceremony. Many fans will be looking forward to it, and you likewise, as a player, will be looking forward to it. Please address your fans and your colleagues. I would like to thank these friends from C9 and for helping me practice Barracks, Mong, Royal, thank you so much. And I'm always thankful to Terra. I always felt envious and wanted to say it myself during an interview, so thank you, Terra. And lastly, a lot of fans showed up today. I'm going to the round of 16. I will for sure go to the round of 8 and the grand final, so please keep cheering for me. Thank you. Can't wait to watch your journey this season. Congratulations on advancing. And we've just heard from Flash, the first player moving on to the round of 16 out of Group E.
to hide out in the shadows, but I see you're playing games. I know your ways. I can see right through. You tried to hide out in the shadows, but I see you. I'm ready for the chase. I'll be running through the night. There's no fear in my eyes. Trouble's coming for you. Nothing left you can do. Clock is ticking down. Your time is running out. Trouble's coming for you.
Welcome back, everybody. Flash moves on, and I got to say, he's looking really, really good. Exciting. I think we all knew he was probably going to look strong and perform well, but it's confirmed now. Flash is back. He's a real threat for this entire season of ASL. Now we've got two very familiar faces duking it out. This is going to be Rush versus Speed, and you know, Speed has looked very strong. He's improved, I would say, rapidly in the last 3 or 4 ASLs that we've had. Even though Rush is favored to win here and probably favored to advance out of this group, there's a world where Speed takes this and Rush is out in Group E.
I think you're right. Speed looked pretty strong against Flash, despite Flash getting a huge advantage in the early game. I think this is just a great match in general. You know, I think you have to be careful as Rush here. As someone who doesn't play as much Terran versus Terran as Speed, Speed is going to be very sharp about his play. So Rush is going to have to really kind of fall upon his, I think, overall higher skill set, right? I would definitely agree with your assessment. He's been one of the top 2 Terrans for years at this point. And it would definitely be an upset if he doesn't make it out of this group.
Well, this should be a good one. What is our map here?
Attitude.
Attitude, thank you. Oh, it's like right in the middle. I was actually just looking at the top right, being like, oh, I think they covered the map name up in the in the in-game UI. We don't know. Sorry, guys. We're going to the map Attitude here. Rush versus Speed. Both players on the left. Speed in the top left. Rush in the bottom left.
All right. So 4-player map. It's funny, they both vetoed the 2-player maps here, whereas Oregon and Flash had a different mindset going into that last game. Attitude is super vanilla type of map. I'm really enjoying Attitude. It's actually, I think, my favorite map in the map pool right now. I don't know. It's just very normal, very kind of simple, but still has some interesting terrain on it. And I honestly even kind of like TVT here. TVT here is kind of interesting because you do have that close by base that's a mineral only that's super easy to take, or you can, you know, take a slightly riskier base at like the 12, 3, 6, or 9 spots that has a gas, but is a little bit further away and harder to defend.
I agree with you. I think this is a great map. By the way, we saw on when we had the shot of the fan in the audience that had the Speed shirt. Sometimes when you see like the winners match end and you get a superstar like Flash advancing, a lot of people online will say, oh, everybody left. They don't care about anybody but that player. And I've seen this said several times, like with Jaedong or, you know, one of the other top players wins. You can see in that shot what really happens is that everybody, while the start of this game is happening, they are lined up to get autographs or photos with the player that won and got out first.
Yeah. That is super, super common, especially when it's someone like Flash or Jaedong. Like, most of the fans are there to kind of see them, but a lot of them will sit back down after meeting a little meet and greet, right? Like, the pros always do that. It's really nice. So if you guys ever do travel down to see an ASL live, then yeah, that's if you want to meet the pro gamers after they advance, you can go get in line. And even some of the ones that lose will even do it. Some of them go home upset, but occasionally they'll make a line as well and, go and sign autographs and talk to you for a minute.
So we've got Rush with the Rax very forwarded in the front of the map. And he's going to have some Marines coming out here. Speed with a much more conservative opening here. Not making a Marine right away, actually. Both players are scouting in a direction that puts nobody really in the lead here. And the SCVs are going to eventually cross each other's paths here on this scouting maneuver. But yeah, Speed, just one SCV in gas. Same thing here for Rush. And a pretty quiet start here.
We're definitely just going to see some factory expansions going up. It looks like Speed only made one Marine there. Okay, he's going to reland the barracks because a Marine popped up at his base. And in fact, Rush is making a third Marine. So Rush is going to put on just a little tiny bit of pressure with these Marines. But it's not hard to stop as long as you land your barracks and make more Marines here. You might want to bring like 2 more SCVs just to make sure, but actually his Vulture's on the way, so there's not really a timing here to get a bunker up or anything, I don't think.
No, he's going to come down here.
What?
Oh,
that is...
Oh, God. The SCV's getting in the way, and then, there was several missed shots from those Marines, but he still wasn't able to pull it back in time. Oh, my God.
I can't believe that he didn't take that more seriously. Like, if you bring a couple more SCVs, like I'll do 4 SCV, 2 Marine, or I'll just make a third Marine and use like 2 SCVs, something like that. And then this doesn't happen. When they get a bunker there, dude, this is bad situation. Rush will probably get mines right away. And what you do is you just repair. They have to go siege tank. You lay mines. And Speed's whole opening is just janked out of its mind at this point. Like, this isn't what you practiced for.
Yeah, there's... to be honest, you don't really see this actually happen in ASL. This happens all the time in StarCraft 1 games. And it's something you have to be ready to deal with. It's kind of crazy to see it in a pro match like this, especially when he sees it coming, right? Like, when you see the SCV and the 3 Marines down there, they're going to try to set up this annoying little contain that then, curbs all of the, progression you're trying to make early on. But yeah, I mean, because of this, Rush is able to plant his command center on the low ground. This tank, which does outrange the bunker, I think a lot of people forget that about tanks, but they don't have to be in siege mode to fight a bunker. They can just hit it with impunity from a distance right now. Because of this, Speed can't land his command centers easily. Now he's got... Oh, can he target that? Okay, he does get 1 mine planted, so you can't land the CC. Oh, nice. He even snipes the Vulture.
Wow. Rush's control here really, really, really good. Speed, he was doing really great stopping the mines, and look at how he's just laying more mines where the command center goes. That's going to be really hard to defuse. Normally, you'd want a Marine to just walk into that, but he lost all of his Marines. So it's like you have to trigger that with tank. And those mines are close enough together, you can't guarantee that you won't take mine hits.
Right. So this is part 2 of the rush, is you get the mines planted, and then it's super dangerous to try to set these off.
Yeah.
So you got to inch in very slowly. Oh!
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. So now the command center can land. But look at how late this is. These SCVs have already been mining. So this is a huge success here for Rush.
Yeah.
Speed has been slowed down incredibly. He also got away, I think, with all 3 Marines and the rest of the Vultures that weren't killed in the fight initially.
Way outplayed in this early game. And this was the opposite of what I thought this would look like, Tastosis, because, again, Speed, he doesn't get to play in all the top pro leagues all the time. He's like a ladder warrior. He's on the ladder very consistently and very consistently really high. And like you said, this happens all the time. Like this bunker thing. Every day I have someone try to do this to me, and you get really good at dealing with it, right?
Right.
So I thought, like, oh, Speed will know. He'll just pull 2 more SCVs and he'll be fine. And then he doesn't pull anything, and he walks down with the Marine leading down the ramp and just loses a Marine instantly, and then loses the other Marine. I think it might be nerves, but it's like a very ladder-esque opener from Rush that crushes the ladder god. Weird, right? Like, that's definitely not what I saw happening here.
Well, I think that you know, he just played Flash, and that was probably super intense, and he played really well, but it might be kind of like weird lingering adrenaline.
Yeah.
Where you have one of the craziest, best, closest games ever, and then the next game is kind of all over the place, you know?
Sure. Well, you know, he's recovering reasonably well. He has a lot of vultures out in the map, which is nice. Rush has these extra Marines, which is awesome. He can push the barracks away really easily. He can use them to trigger mines. That's one of the best things to do with the Marines at this point. You just walk them forward and you see where the mines field starts. And then you can use them to trigger more mines if need be. It's like saving scans because they just aren't very useful at this point. But Speed is doing a great job moving his vultures around. And this is one of the areas in which Speed is really good, is utilizing vultures in early game Terran versus Terran.
So Rush is proceeding very cautiously. His academy's about to finish. I didn't see if Speed started the academy yet or not. It doesn't look like he has. So Rush is going to have some scans ready to go. Hey, you tell me if I'm incorrect about this, Tastosis. A lot of times the guy that's containing them, especially with mass vultures, gets the academy later.
Yeah. Generally, that's the case. If you think you're going to get contained at all, you get your academy immediately. Like, there's builds where you just start the academy before you're even contained because you know that it's coming because of the builds that, you know, each of you are doing. Like, you need to scan, push the mines back, and make sure you don't get contained. You saw what happened to Speed against Flash. That's what happens if you get contained.
Yeah, it looks like he gets shut down trying to do any kind of run by there. Got to be very careful, you know, advancing here on these mines. You know, you don't normally want to have like an insane number of mines stacked together, but in TVT you always do, because Terran units fire basically instantaneously. Vultures sometimes shoot. Well, they can be a little bit funny. They shoot fast, but not as fast as like tanks or Marines and Goliaths do. But when you have a bunch of mines stacked together, if they all pop up and go to their targets, you can lose everything. So you got to be super cautious moving around on that. But he's cleared out most of the mines. It looks like Speed is ready to basically block this off. And we're going to get to the phase where there's going to be a little bit more posturing around the map, and then both sides have to take a third base.
Rush has taken a pretty far forward position. Speed's still running around with the vultures. It's kind of funny. He was like trying to do a counterattack before, and 2 tanks made him turn around. He's being very careful with his vultures. I feel like there was a potential previously for him to jump on those 2 tanks with his volts, but pulls them back for now. Lots of mines being laid all over the place. Rush's forward contain, like, this is a really strong position for him, but he does have to be careful. Like, is he going to reinforce that? Because if he doesn't, it can be busted, and if he does, he might be a little bit out of position for this huge amount of vultures that Speed's running around with.
Okay, the vultures are going to come up now. A couple of tanks here are going to make it a lot harder to make this work. Is Speed going to try to actually run around? I'm worried that he's just going to get chased down into this corner, and he's going to bleed off a lot of vultures in the process. It's hard to get a ton of vultures up a ramp when you have this many. They really start to kind of log jam against each other. And I think that a lot of times we see like vultures kind of like Zerglings. You just see them get killed off and don't really bat an eye. But if you lose too many of them, man, you do lose a lot of the meat in your push. Like, you know, I'm a little bit worried if Rush chose to, he could just unsiege everything and break this tank line. And that's exactly what he's going to do because all the vultures are on the far right side of the map.
Yeah, you can't keep up a siege line with only 4 tanks this late into the game. Very painful here for Speed. And he brings down more tanks, and his vultures actually come in from the side. Really well done. Great hold here from Speed. His vultures got back just in time, and he did have those few tanks just slightly out of position.
Oh, my God.
That was a really, really good move.
Yeah, the combination of the vulture flank and then the extra tanks that were not in the scan made Rush lose that entirely. I thought Rush was going to win that pretty heavily.
Yeah,
if he hadn't go back and...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. It makes me wonder about, you know, the difference between the right clicking or attack clicking of these 2 players compared to Flash. Because, like, when you watch Flash's fights, it's like everything attacks what it needs to in that moment.
Well, that is definitely a huge difference between them and why Flash got out in first place, part of it at least. Looking at this game, Speed is actually in a really good spot now because he has already got his third base up, and it's a gas third. Rush has been slowed several times from making his own third base, and it's the mineral base, which is just not as useful. So Speed is going to have this opportunity to be like, okay, does he want to get Science Vessel? Does he want to make some Wraiths? Does he just want more Siege Tanks and getting +2? Like, he's going to have a lot more gas to work with here and a lot more options on how to play.
Well, he's going to be able to crush these bikes here in the back. Couple more kills here on the SCVs. Good targeting here by Speed. Supplies are fairly even. It is the mineral-only base here for Rush when compared to the gas base here at 12 o'clock for Speed, which basically a gas base is always better than a mineral-only, but I think some of this is just due to what is closest to the right of their starting location.
Yeah.
Rush ends up taking the mineral just because it's a little bit closer, and he's going to take a fourth base right away at 6 o'clock. And I think we're going to see something similar from Speed. Is that an SCV in the top right?
I don't know, actually. It might be. We are actually getting to the point where he should be thinking about a fourth base. You actually take the fourth pretty quickly after the third in Terran versus Terran because your money starts to ramp up like crazy. Now, it looks like a dropship just got loaded up here for Speed. He is going across the map. Rush, actually, if you look at the mini-map, technically he has a little bit more of the map, like, area-wise. But his economy definitely not quite as good. This dropship coming in, Speed is kind of dictating this game a little bit more than Rush right now. He's been a bit more active, and, of course, with that additional gas, I'm excited to see what he wants to spend that on.
Okay, so the drop was totally shut down. Beautifully done. Oh, wow.
Well,
Make that 2.
he wants to spend it on dropships that will then just perish.
These really did not do very much.
No, not so well.
I'm like, before I could even talk about the first failed dropship, here's a second one.
So
Rush, is Speed going to expand into the center left?
Oh, is he? What? I mean, you can take that base. So. Yeah, and that was an SCV in the top right, by the way, but Rush sent a Vulture up there as well. Now, that base that Speed's taking, a lot of times that's one of the bases that, no one ends up taking. It's like one of those fiercely contested bases in the center of the map for Terran versus Terran, but it does look like he wants to take it. The thing is, you have to commit a fair amount to defend it, but it's, way out of position for anything, right? The tanks there aren't helping you other than to hold and expand.
So Rush continues to grow down here into the bottom right. The games that we cast Tastosis, we don't normally see, let's say that we have the spawns the players are in this game. A lot of times the left base, like the 9 o'clock and the 3 o'clock base, basically, the left and the right are not taken until the very, very end. We've talked about that in previous TVTs. But it's interesting to see Speed go for a quadrant expand and basically take his little quadrant of the map.
Generally, that's going to be a little bit weaker than trying to take the other side of the map because it's going to be harder.
I agree.
Now, Rush...
Here's why. Yeah. The reason why is because it creates this soft spot here at 12 o'clock where you have so many units not even close to this at all.
A ton of his tanks are over at that 9 o'clock base, Rush does have considerably more supply, but now he has some tanks even sectioning off top right. Speed, he's played very timidly. It's like he's playing a Terran versus Protoss game, right? If you just showed me his setup only on the minimap, I'd be like, yeah, he's playing against Protoss here. He's he's really well defended in his area. Everything's close, so he can go and respond to Zealots and Dragoons going somewhere. But what we see from Rush is he's just kind of going around everything. He's got so many units, and he's just positionally dominating right now. Even though Speed got himself into a pretty good position after a failed early game, this is right now. I'm looking at this. It's wow, Rush is looking like he's dominating based on the position on the map.
Okay, he's pushing up now. Big siege up here. Can he possibly break this? I love the D-Matrix over here on the tank in the front. And Speed's going to come down here with a huge sledgehammer of tanks and try to bust up this position. And, oh, man, actually, this for Rush, he's got a lot bigger of a tank spread than I realized. Some mines are going to be planted here. Great targeting here from Speed. Speed is going to be able to control this position. Rush not able to advance, but it's getting kind of scary. That huge amount of tanks that came down there really wasn't able to get in the way of this push that's coming up here on the left side. And we're seeing Speed set up siege tanks further and further back.
Well, Speed has been pretty efficient with this so far. He's actually taken the supply lead when Rush was up by about 20 before that. But I still think that this is pretty good for Rush overall. Like, he's got the threat of hitting that base. We have more and more tanks going up there. The thing is, he could quickly bring all of his units somewhere else. Speed cannot. Like, the tanks that are up there, they're basically just up there and they have to sit there. Rush can suddenly unsiege everything and, like, move to another area. And that's, like, a very strong thing you can do in Terran versus Terran. Whereas, oh, he's over-defending here? Let's go over here.
You can really see the problem with the expansion formation here for Speed. Like, it's a lot hard. I mean, the bottom right side of the map feels so far away. Now, Speed's moving out. In fact, he's dropping over here, and he's doing a big push through the middle. But let's see if this actually works. This is a lot harder than it even looks to try to come up with anything that's going to be successful here.
This is like one of those desperation drops. Vulture tank at this stage in the game and 2 dropships isn't likely to do too much. But he's doing a nice push down the side at the same time and actually finds a good location. Look at this. The Vulture's actually running into the 3rd base, getting a lot of SCVs suddenly. And look at that supply differential. It just went from like even at max, and suddenly Speed is up by 30 supply.
This is crazy. Somehow 6 o'clock became the weak point. The Vultures hit that mineral only, doing a lot of damage. You can see that Rush is basically scrambling to try to stabilize over here. It's a lot of work to get up here. So many mines in these tanks. This is so annoying. And remember that Speed's going to be setting up for the next attack behind this. So Rush now has to show how many dropships he has and hit over here. He will be able to clear this out. Again, a ton of mines. He's going to have to spend scans on here. Remember that, you know, in TVT, when you get enough scanners, you're basically scanning each other's bases and armies the whole time. There's not that much fog of war. But he's having to burn a decent amount of scans on those mines over here. And Rush now sees there's a huge wave of Speed units coming across the map.
I'm really impressed and surprised by Speed there that he found that weakness at 6. I didn't think he was going to find a weakness, but, you know, that's one of the most important things to be able to do in Terran versus Terran is somewhere is probably under-defended. Can you go and hit that area? And he's done it perfectly. And suddenly, like, you can see him infiltrating to this bottom right. Rush is maybe screwed in this game.
Yeah, I can't believe how well Speed's played this. He's just outpositioned Rush. And, you know, I mean, so many SCVs are going to be killed here. I would be curious what the pure SCV count is here for both sides, because there's so many SCVs getting wiped. This is the 4th base where we've had a big SCV wipe happening, and there's more SCVs being transferred over here as well. What?
This is absolutely wild how many SCVs he's gotten. Rush has like no income right now. My God, this is really, really bad for him. Speed has a ton of money. He's maxed out constantly right now. Rush is just losing tanks everywhere. Well, he's doing a good little push right here, but it feels like if Speed just kind of gathers his army together and parries this one big push from Rush, I think that could be something that ends it, because he has the top right. He's destroyed the bases in the bottom right. The command centers are technically still alive, but there's nothing mining.
You know, funnily enough, the counterattack that Rush is trying to do doesn't really seem to have any easy targets because of the weird expansion pattern that Speed took. Speed went with that quadrant setup, and then he's basically got this one, like, main base at the very, very top right that seems almost like it's disposable, like he could just pick up and leave. He's got no infrastructure there.
Yeah.
Speed's just setting up more counterattacks to draw these tanks back. This is crazy.
You know, that's actually, it's a good point. Like, that's the nice thing about that position. But if you're in that position and your opponent kind of defends everything, that's where it becomes a real liability, where you're like, oh God, how do I take top right? You know? But Rush had that weak area, and Speed found it, exploited it. He's maintained his max. He has a huge amount of income. He has a huge bank right now. Oh, and he's starting to make missile turrets too. When you start making missile turrets in the middle of the map with your siege lines, that's when you're like, okay, we're entering endgame here, where I'm finishing him.
Okay, so this is so annoying right now. Rush just can't really get this base set up. The moment that he lands this, we see the vultures dive in. They're going to plant some more mines. The tanks are targeting pretty well. And again, I mean, Speed is getting so much bigger. Look at his minerals and gas.
It's crazy.
Like, this is insane. Do you go battle cruisers yet, or do you wait on that? Is that basically when both sides have just mass turrets up that you're kind of forced into that?
Yeah, if it's really turtled positions, that's when you go for it. Speed is far enough ahead that he should just play this like a tempo game and just like continually attack all over the place. Just keep switching up where he is. Trade slightly inefficiently. It doesn't matter because he's just got the income advantage.
Yeah, look at Rush here. I mean, he's almost a 140 supply. Speed could, you know, lose half of his army and max that out immediately. And he's just totally collapsing on this position down here, right outside where the main base is. Oh my God, Speed is +3 attack, +2 armor, whereas Rush is just +2 attack.
Well, that shows you the bad state that Rush is in. The player that's behind oftentimes just stops upgrading after +2. Because it's like, well, I just need more tanks. Like, that's all there is to it. I don't have a big enough economy. He does have a fair amount of
explanation for that.
Yeah, because it's like the 3-2 does make a difference, but the 90% of the difference is in the +2. Like, at this point, like, SCVs won't even really hurt him, right? Like, SCVs are one of the best fighting units in TVT. Another big drop comes down here from Speed into the bottom right. I think Rush is going to GG very soon. Like,
this is going to be a massive upset, Artosis.
Yes.
Rush is easily a top 8 player in pretty much any ASL you're in. But to lose in the round of 24 is insane.
And not just lose, but last place. That's pretty wild. And the thing is, he's actually in really good shape right now, too. Like, I don't think he's in quite as good shape as, like, for instance, Royal. Like, Royal, I'm really watching this season. But Rush is in good shape. He's been playing well, I feel like. And yeah, this is not going well for him right now. I don't think he can come back, but it's Terran versus Terran. Like, you can get so cost efficient, and if your opponent tries to finish you too hard, then the game can fall apart. So there's still, like, I understand why he's still in the game, but I think the way that Speed is playing this with the dropships, you can see how blue the map is. The more missile turrets he makes, the more impossible this is becoming. And, like, just one more note is, like, what he's doing up here, he's trying to... This is him trying to finish. Where it's like, is he going too far? Because if Rush can now clear this, because Speed didn't play that position more defensively, Rush gets the bottom right once again. Right? Sometimes it's better to set up and just be annoying and deny one base rather than try to kill another base.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's going to clean this up here in the bottom right. These dropships are going to go back for another massive pickup over here. And I mean, you know, Rush is starting to reclaim his corner on the map. The problem is his supply is so much lower. Like, we saw an insane amount of tanks and Goliaths fighting down there in the bottom right. That's most of everything that he has.
If... I saw 3 starports blinking, 1 without an add-on. If Speed screws up this drop and he goes into Heavy Wraith and Rush blocks that, if both those things happen, Rush is on a comeback trail. Like, not ahead, but like it looks like it could potentially happen. I don't know if either of those things will occur, though. This drop is looking really scary coming in. I don't think there's many units in there for Rush. Yeah, not too many. Oof. Dude, Rush is like, it really looks like he's dead, man. He is trying so hard to hold on to these bases, and it is just not working.
Yeah, an exhausting uphill fight here for Rush that I just don't know that he can pull this off. And you're seeing him have to force units up ramps to take these fights. I mean, he is winning this fight down here in the bottom right. But again, you got to go back to that supply, as well as the amount of money in the bank here for Speed. I mean, over 5K minerals. Almost 2K gas. Where Rush, you can see he's not maxed out, and he's basically spending the money as it comes in.
Yeah. I feel like oh, wow, look at that macro on Rush. He's really keeping his minerals and gas low. It's like, well, you know, what is Speed supposed to do? I guess Speed could add some production in top right. And you can always build more missile turrets in Terran vs. Terran.
I guess Speed could make a Mickey Mouse face with turrets in the middle of the map. I mean, there's other things he could be doing right now.
Oh, man. Okay, this might actually be it at this point. This is so many tanks. I don't know that Rush has any ability to clear this attack. He's trying to come up. Wow, this is going to be Rush's worst result in years and years and years, right? I can't remember him not being in the round of 16.
And what's crazy about it, Artosis, is that I was imagining, Flash advancing, but it was going to be watching Flash compete with these other modern Terrans as we get closer and closer to the round of 8 and kind of seeing how he looks and how he compares. And what a plot twist here that Rush is going to get flushed out immediately in the round of 24 and won't really be part of the next chapter here of the ASL as we go into the round of 16 at all.
Especially after the opening he had. Remember, he made that bunker against Speed. Like, that's such a pain to deal with. Like, he really out-opened Speed. And, wow, GG. Crazy upset right there. And Speed very happy to have done that. And here's the funny part. The next match is much easier. Like, Oregon is a tricky player, but, like, Speed is the third best player in the group, and he's going up against the weakest player in the group to get out of the group. Not what anyone was expecting.
Speed running on pure adrenaline right now. Had a great game against Flash, and then an epic late game where he defeated Rush. This should be the easiest part of the day here, but Oregon's already shown he's got a lot of great tricks up his sleeve. I do feel for Rush. That's got to be really disappointing. There's been a lot of hype around this season, and I think everybody, him included, did not expect it to end like this, and certainly not this early.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of looking forward to seeing a Rush versus Flash game. I guess I'm not going to see it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, Oregon versus Speed for second place in the group.
I've been taken for granted my whole life. Don't try to play me, bruh. It seem like they can't keep my name up out their mouth. I know I'm unstoppable there, top of my class. They pump their brakes, I hit the gas. They built the brake, I made to last. Push come to shove, I'm whooping they ask about me. I don't talk about it, I be about it. I got a lot more for a lot less. I've been about it, you just speak about it. You a prospect talking nonsense. I just move the way I wanna move. This is real life, this is not chess. They be trying to tell me how to play my own game, dog. I digress. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. They know I'm the man. I'm just showing out. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. I keep it real. That's what I'm about. Bang on my chest like I'm King Kong. Top of my game like I'm LeBron. I got that mustard like this, John. Man on a mission like Elon. I'm prepared to win because I always go the distance. I had to do it on my lonely cause I never had assistance. Always had a vision, but I always still persisted. People say I'm tripping, now I'm on the road to riches. Come on. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. They know I'm the man. I'm just showing out. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. I keep it real. That's what I'm about. I got that juice, attitude. What you gonna do when they mad at you? I just did what I had to do. Leveled up a new magnitude. I kept it pushing and busting and moving and running and shaking and hustling. My competition be mad at themselves cause they keep on falling down and struggling. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. They know I'm the man. I'm just showing out. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. I keep it real. That's what I'm about. Here we go. They know I'm the man. I'm just showing out. I keep it real. That's what I'm about. (1998년부터) 시작된 프로도의 역사는 아직 끝나지 않았습니다. 새로운 역사의 시작 ASL 스타크래프트 리마스터 최초의 대회, 여러분들이 원하는 꿈의 축제 뜨거운 박수 걸어가는 MC로 뚫어요 역사적인 기록을
어려움은 나한테 아무것도 아니다. 가을의 주인공이
어게인 2000 바닥부터 시작해서 11년 만에 헤란의 새로운 왕권
최고의 선수.
뛰는 연속 우승 자구 왕조의 트로피를 이어받는 새로운 우승자의 이름은 박상현.
이런 선수들이 이런 멋진 경기를 팬들 앞에서 여전히 보여주고 있다라는 것을
We're back, everybody. Oregon versus Speed coming up next here. The final TVT of the evening. Speed looking so scary, but Oregon's got some aces up his sleeve. One of these two is going to be advancing. The other one is out of the ASL.
And that is a fact. If Oregon can make it through, that would be just crazy. He could. It's a best of one, Terran versus Terran. The build he brought against Rush was pretty crazy. I think the map chain dough worked against him against Flash because it's so hard to do anything cheesy on that map because of the ramp and everything. But I don't know. Let's see. He's going to be playing a much more normal map here against Speed in Polestar. Really, anything. You could do anything on Polestar.
Yeah, this should be a fun one. Speed, by the way, got to make sure he's not totally exhausted going into this. Those are some intense TVTs he just went through. He just got off the back of that Rush victory. That was what, like 24 minutes, something like that?
It was a long game, yeah.
Yeah. Oregon's games have been relatively short. I don't know. Yeah, let's see what happens, man. Polestar is our map as we get one of possibly two more Terrans advancing here into the round of 16. Probably this is the last Terran to move on here.
Yeah,
Latest group is pretty tough. But yeah, and what's been a very Terran-heavy season so far for this ASL. Okay, we've got Oregon in the top right. Speed cross spawns down here in the bottom left. Consider signing up for the Patreon, everybody. It's patreon.com/ASL English. Did I get it right, Tastosis?
You got it. You got it right this time, Tasteless. Woo! Thank you, everyone who has signed up already. Also, even if you're not signed up, we do post on there links to the VODs that you can go and check out. The videos are getting up quicker on the SOOP channel and a couple days later on the YouTube per the new rules. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for watching, and definitely do check that out.
Yeah, it's been so good to be back here doing ASL. And what an interesting season this is. You know, we already know now that Flash is advancing. He looks amazing. You know, and it's kind of crazy to be now in yet another new era of StarCraft 1 with the return of Flash.
I love this camera shot. It shows how close they are to each other. Mm-hmm. I'm just waiting. One day they're going to have that camera shot and someone's going to lean back and look to the right. It's like, hey, he's trying to look at the screen. What are you doing? Little pocket mirror to see the big screen behind him. He's like, all right, cross spawn. All right.
So the way the stage works is that each player is assigned a booth. So, you can have it where, it's the guy on the so there's 4 booths obviously on stage, and you could have it where, the guy on the very far left is against the guy on the very far right on the final match. And in that case, they're far apart. But in this case, they both happen to be on like stage right. And that's how you get a cool shot like that. And the rule is they're not allowed to turn around.
Oh, yeah.
They've got to stay eyes locked on that screen. If they were to turn around, they would see the giant screen behind them that would have everything.
Yeah. There was actually like a really infamous situation that happened in Pro League like a really long time ago where the question was, did he move his eyes enough to see? Someone had moved their eyes slightly. I actually believe it was Leda, if I recall correctly. And I can't remember if he got a game loss for that or not. I have to go back and look it up. It's been so long since I've even thought about this. But yeah, stuff like that's really important when you're doing these kind of live broadcasts with the screen there and everything. And an audience, someone could signal, but it really never happens. That's the only time I remember anything like that ever happening in professional StarCraft 1.
There's a lot of thought that has to go into how to set up a studio to do a proper esports match where you can't cheat. Because esports is one of the funny things where you have both like something competitive and sports-like, but at the same time you end up with this high-end production where you can do a lot of stuff you can't normally do in sports. Like you don't normally have sparklers on the stage or smoke machines or giant screens right by the players in a normal sporting match. And a lot of times, like especially a giant screen, that can be used to cheat in StarCraft because it's a game of incomplete information. I remember when we were setting up the offline event for the RSL, 2025 finals for StarCraft 2. We rented a big esports venue, and it was kind of crazy because like we had all these TVs on the ceiling. We were like pointing them to try to give everybody in the audience the best shot, and then we realized, the players will be able to see this. We have to be so careful with how we point stuff. Or it'll just literally destroy the integrity of the tournament.
Yeah, there's so many headaches, and then of course soundproofing and all that as well. It's like, damn, it can be hard to run one of those.
Well, the crazy thing with the soundproofing was how much it really didn't work in the early days. They used to have these like wooden booths they'd put you in with crazy headphones to try to block the sound, and like they would get so hot in these booths, it looked insane. It was like a little mini sauna. But now the technology is much better. They have these soundproofing headphones. You really can't hear anything when they're on.
Yeah, and they generally also blast music into your ears, like or white noise, right? Like that's very common as well at events.
Yeah, usually it's white noise or like brown noise or pink noise or whatever. But usually it to describe what it's like, it feels like you're playing StarCraft, but you're on an airplane.
Yeah.
Like there's that level of kind of just generic sound, like the humming and everything. But yeah, I mean, I've put those headphones on. It's like you really can't hear anything. I've had my friends screaming at me while we test it out, and I don't hear anything.
So taking a look at this game, they're both going for 3 factory Vulture openers. Oregon is actually getting faster 3 factory. He's skipping a few more SCVs. Just to put that out there. Like, notice how neither of his command centers are blinking. Notice how his 3 factories are up much faster. Both ways are commonly played, right? Like, you can either have the heavier SCV approach where your factories are a little bit slower, or you can have the heavier Vulture approach. Obviously, if you don't get any damage done with the heavier Vulture approach, then you might end up being a bit behind against someone who's able to scale up more quickly with their higher SCV count. So something to watch out for here. The thing is, it's cross-spawn, and they're both doing similar enough builds. I don't think anyone's going to end up taking any damage here.
It's going to be Oregon as the first player to move out, setting his stuff across the map here. Nobody's taken their second gas. What actually prompts a player to take the second gas in games that look fairly similar like this one?
Yeah, so if it's a build that's not 3 factory Vulture, you take it a lot quicker. But when it's 3 factory Vulture, Well, you decide if you're going all in with it or not. Like, if you're just going to add some more factories for vultures, then you don't take it. But otherwise, you just kind of wait until you have the money. Like, they'll take it pretty soon here. But hold on. Oregon is actually coming up with an attack with a tank. He might... This is actually really scary for speed. Really scary for speed. He has to pull all of his SCVs. This is insane. That siege tank is making all the difference. Look at this. Is Oregon going to kill speed?
Oh my God. I mean, he might be able to. So many SCVs are being driven away here, and now he can just basically camp at the bottom of the ramp. This is crazy, Artosis.
Yeah. Oregon is on the brink of winning this game right now and advancing. His tank actually gets pushed through there. It's doing so much tanking for him. He's got so many more vultures. Speed is dead, man. He is, like, you do not come back from a game like this.
I mean, this is so many SCV kills. They are just getting completely obliterated. And I mean, the tank is very hard for the vultures to kill, but I mean, how many SCVs are even left in this game right now? Oh, the mines are going down.
Yeah. And Oregon is not really missing a beat at home. Like, he is totally fine. He's got plenty of supply depots. He's just producing vultures nonstop, sending them down. He can kind of do anything. He's got mines here. How many SCVs are left? That's a great question. It can't be very many. But he's at 41 supply. So he's probably got like 25 SCVs.
This is insane. It does seem like speed is starting to stabilize. He actually had a decent amount of SCVs remade back at his natural. I think he was literally pumping those out when the vultures were trying to get up the ramp. Speed's now come down to the low ground. It does feel like Oregon did lose a little bit of momentum, right? Like, he might have missed a couple of cycles on those factories, maybe some bad rallies as well. Some of the vultures sitting in the natural where the rest were actually out on the map. And suddenly speed is back on the low ground again.
This is a terrible spot for him, though. Like, he's laying some defensive mines. I don't think that Oregon really cares about that too much. He is getting his own starport. He should have made a second gas at this point. You asked when you'll get a second gas. It's like when you're getting ready to switch techs up a little bit, right? And he is making a starport, so I'm a little bit surprised he hasn't done that. But coming in once again here and trying to do another trade. Well, more vultures coming down. Yeah, look at this. He's just kind of overwhelming him once again.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem when you go back and reclaim the low ground, is you are at risk of being overwhelmed again. You know, it seems like now the SCVs are going to fall in very high numbers here once more. Keep in mind, if there's nothing to block this ramp, I mean, the vultures can easily get up here and just spam out mines. And if you don't have anything else to protect that, God, the blocking at the ramp, by the way, from speed is really, really good. But yeah, Oregon, like, if he can just burst up this ramp, I don't see a world where speed's going to stay in this game. He lost, again, probably a dozen SCVs. Still a decent amount sitting inside the main.
It seems impossible. Like, with 2 wraiths being made as well, he can bring the 2 wraiths down. He's going to force a lift here and then lay mines underneath the command center. You try to keep that down because you don't have scans. And it's like, damn, man. Look at this. He's even mining the minerals. He knows he's going to have to come down in full force. Oh, my God. Is he going to try to shove his way down the ramp before that he has to lift? Because the thing is, if you have to lift here, the mines are going under instantly. And he doesn't have any way to trigger them. He has no way. Yeah.
More vultures coming down. Yeah, that's the issue, guys, is if that command center lifts up, you are spamming mines under there. And remember, vultures, as we already see, don't set off opposing mines. It's like a weird property. I don't think Blizzard really factored in when they programmed the game, but, you know, only tanks, Marines, and Goliaths can set off mines, which means right now, and keep in mind, Speed has 1 tank. Okay, so if there were like a ton of mines under that command center, do you know how delicately you'd have to move that tank around with vultures around it in order to clear that out to land that again?
Yeah.
What a headache.
Yeah, he'd have to, like, oh, God, the 2 wraiths are going to come in. We're going to see a GG. There's just no point anymore with the 2 wraiths in there. He does not have an armory. He just started it. GG? Dude, Oregon just went to the round of 16.
That is so sick. What a crazy upset. Oregon advances. Rush and Speed are out. We have Oregon, who's been one of the mainstay old school players here from StarCraft 1. He's been here forever, but he was always kind of in the background, always overshadowed by these other players. usually a round of 24 guy. He's moved on to the round of 16 along with Flash, the greatest player in StarCraft history. And the two mainstays of the ASL, Rush and Speed, these guys have been with us for, what, 5 years in almost every single ASL? They're now out of this season.
Man, what a victory here today from Oregon. He takes down Speed and Rush and has an okay game against Flash. Like, I mean, very, very impressive. You can see he's a little bit overwhelmed. The guy is mostly a professional commentator at this point. And he wasn't even expected to make it in. That was the biggest upset in the qualifiers, was him beating Stork, you know, which was amazing. But he's brought these really good builds. He's executing them well enough, and he goes to the round of 16.
And that does it for Group B of the round of 24 here at ASL Season 21. Twist after twist, indeed. Let's meet our second player moving on to the round of 16. It's Piano. A round of applause, please. Wow. Yeah, thanks. It feels like we've never seen such an underdog comeback in the round of 24 before. Today's story, written, directed by Piano, was truly full of twists and turns. A comeback on top of a comeback. Since Season 7, it's been a full 7 years for you to finally reach the round of 16 again. Right now, it seems like you can't even properly look down the center of the stage. The emotions are overwhelming. It seems that your unwavering belief in yourself all the way through the match is what allowed you to achieve such a great result today. It took longer than expected to make it to the round of 16. This moment must carry an especially deep meaning for you, Piano. Please, a few words. Guys, a round of applause again, please. Thank you. You know, these pricks, the guys who showed up to cheer for me. There's this one person I coach, and you know what she said? She said, guys, let's match clothes. Let's all come wearing black. Even if it's just to prove them wrong, I realized I have to advance today. I have to show them what I've got, I thought. It was supposed to be a funerary rite, because you know my TVT is 19%. I can't win more than 19%. It was my mission to get 2 wins today, so I showed that I can do it. So I'm happy. Right. Wow. Honestly, in the pre-game interview, you jokingly hinted that you would likely not be able to give a winner's interview. Right. You brought up this number, 19%. Right. It made me feel that you don't really believe in yourself. And that's why it seems to me now that all of these emotions are coming out. That's correct. You know, I'm turning 40 this year. Last time I went to the round of 16 back in Season 7, I was the oldest player there. It was 3 years ago, so I was 37. Anyway, I didn't have any expectations. My primary goal was to give the viewers a rush of dopamine. In the game against Flash, well, I knew it would be too hard anyway, so I practiced for it very lightheartedly. I decided to hang everything on the last game. Now, my plan originally was to go CC first, but I decided to play the build I like the most, and I changed it. As I was grounding myself. Now, that's optimizing. I'm confident in optimizing. So in the last game, it was me believing in myself. And so I managed to advance. As I was watching you from the side, I got the feeling that's what you were thinking right after the game, that as you turned to face the back of the stage, that you were deeply moved by the fact that you finally trusted yourself. Because also when would I ever get to go to the round of 16 again? I'm a commentator now. I wondered if I'd ever play in the round of 16, and I never made the round of 16 after my daughter was born, so I wondered if I'd ever get the chance to mention my wife and my kid in an interview. But I managed to do it today. They will be watching. As you just mentioned yourself, you moving on to the round of 16 today, despite your age, despite you turning 40, how you did not give up until the end, your determination to prove something despite being teased by your colleagues. All of this must resonate deeply with many people watching this today. You know, I had the odds stacked against me like nobody has before. I think the odds were 33-1 against me. You could sit a streamer named Vitamin there and it would be no different. So I'm very happy today, and I recently joined DM, the DM University. I'm looking forward to working with Zeus. And, you know, these friends from the ENO University, these students, they really are good colleagues to have. Thanks to the fact you gave me your precious time today to come here and cheer for me, I was able to advance. Genuinely, thank you so much. In the pre-game interview, you said you qualified for the round of 24 due to a mistake. And I advanced due to a mistake again today. You are saying you advanced to the round of 16 due to a mistake, but a repeated mistake does not seem like coincidence. Will my opponents just keep making mistakes so I advance? Yeah. The things you showed today in the games, like the floating factory strategy, it seemed like after the first game you were focusing constantly on the strategic parts. Right, you know, I practiced with two people. I asked Sharp and Sag, but they had already been occupied. Whether it was Rush or Flash, they were already practicing with others. I played with Jack tier player Hani and King tier player Haya. I only practiced with these two, and I won 15-0 in practice, but nobody would believe me. I won all the games in practice. My wife would stand by and watch me play it and be like, wait, you're winning? And that got me thinking, you're right, why am I winning? I couldn't wrap my head around it myself. Hey, I'm good. So I was confident today, so even before the games, above all, I made it known that I at least gotta get one win. Anyway, I advanced, and I'm very much excited about the prospect of taking part in the group selection ceremony. And we are busy putting together a new team, this new crew, so Zeus will be busy, but I hope we have fun and things work out. You advancing today is by no mistake at all. It's not a coincidence. Your opponents today, well, Rush is someone who never missed out on a round of 16 since Season 10. And Speed went to the round of 16 3 times in a row. I really want to emphasize that what you showed today is not by chance. I have a feeling that the players you meet in the round of 16 might likewise awaken something in you like this. You saw it, right, in the green room. When those two played, I didn't watch on purpose, because whoever comes, I was ready to just play my thing. You even came to chat with me. Well, you were all alone in the back. Right. I bet the seeded players, the guys who are already in the round of 16, were watching this too, so I can't wait to see what you show at the group selection ceremony. Thank you for this moving story today and the great games. Please close things out as you address the fans and your family. I'm sure my family are watching this at home and shouting at the TV, so big thanks to my wife and my daughter for their support and for the meal I had before coming here. And Casterly, he said I would never be able to make the round of 16 again. Casterly, all the way there, this brick. You'll never make it, he said. If you make it, I'll give you $1,000, he said, way back. Buy me dinner at least. Thank you. And a word for your fans? Oh, my fans are dying out because I'm busy with StarCraft University nowadays. I'll advance and, with my performance, make it so nobody asks questions like, why is a guy like this here? Thank you. Once more, a wholehearted congratulations on advancing today. Thank you. And we've just heard from Piano, who advances out of Group E into the round of 16 in second place.
What a day, man. I'm really glad we got to cast these games. This was really fun.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see Flash back and in great form. Oregon's story is really exciting, and this gives, I think, a lot of people someone very interesting to root for. This is a very unusual player to advance, especially in a group like this. I mean, Speed and Rush are so good at TVT, but Oregon really delivered. I think he planned things out very well. And I mean, I think when you're a player like Oregon, you got to take it one day at a time, right? Let's see how far he can go.
Yeah. I think he's probably going to be stopped dead in the round of 16. I think he's the most likely person for Soma to pick up for his group. I think Tolbo, Ample, and Oregon are all going to be picked up really quickly in that draft in the first round. So we'll see which one Soma ends up taking. But I'm really happy for Oregon. It's huge that he even made it in. Like, when he made it in, I'm like, damn, that's awesome. What a great upset. And we've actually had a lot of upsets this season. Solkey losing to Ample. Tolbo taking out two of the best Zergs in the world. But on this next group, I don't know that there is going to be an upset. I don't think Leda is going to be able to make it out of here. Best Queen and Jaedong are all in top 4 quality. Like, all 3 of those guys could be top 4 this season, honestly.
This is going to be such a fun group. I cannot wait to see exactly how everything pans out here. But we've got some great players to fill in those remaining spots. Best is probably advancing, and then I think it's a toss-up between Queen and JD. But we'll see. I mean, we've had a lot of upsets already here in the round of 24, so anything could happen.
That's true. Leda has some pretty scary Terran versus Zerg at times. He actually lost to Queen on day 1 of the qualifiers in a game that he was ahead in, actually, which was interesting. So there is a little bit of upset potential, especially if Best wins the group, which I think you might be right. Like, Best is really good right now. He looks nearly unstoppable.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This group was incredible to cast, and we're going to be back tomorrow with the final group in the round of 24.
That's right. Thanks, guys. Once again, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/ASL English, and we'll see you next time.